We all know that Magnus Carlsen is the greatest chess player to ever live, and no matter who he faces, he can sit down knowing that he's better than his opponent. Or is he? Meet L. Lolliot, a genius among geniuses and the lead detective for the Kira killing incidents in the anime Death Note. He's known as one of the smartest characters in all of fiction, and he single-handedly stopped World War III when he was only 8 years old. For the sake of this video, we're gonna assume L doesn't know how to play chess. Even if L is objectively smarter than Magnus, is that enough to make up for the decades of experience and thousands of patterns drilled into the world champion? Or what if he was given only 10 minutes to learn chess? Would that be enough to bring him to Magnus's level? Well, I'm gonna break down exactly why L wouldn't even need 5 minutes to learn and beat the 21-time world champion, and that's me being generous. But let's first understand a little bit more about L's upbringing. L was taken into the Whammy house at the age of 8, an orphanage for gifted children. We don't know much about his life before that, but the founder of the orphanage, Watari, immediately recognized L's extreme intelligence. We quickly learn about his unique nature, since when other kids tried to bully him, they ended up on the floor, with L stating, "I am justice." This led to him being somewhat isolated during his time at the Whammy house, but Watari would give him complex puzzles to tackle, which he'd all solve in a breeze. And as soon as he got his first computer at 8 years old, he solved a serial murder case that had no leads. He found it more difficult and stimulating than any puzzle he had ever done, so he just keeps solving more and more until he becomes the world's best detective. Now let's compare this to Magnus Carlsen's early days. At 8, he had just started playing in chess tournaments and had a rating of roughly 900, but as he locked in, his genius quickly started to show and he shot up to 2000 at 10. Now look, I know from experience how hard this is because I've been hard stuck 1800 for like 2 years, but we don't need to talk about that. At 13 years old, Magnus drew against the #1 player at the time, Garry Kasparov, and beat former world champion Anatoly Karpov all in the same tournament. This was when Magnus started to get global recognition, and he climbed the ranks in no time. He became the youngest person ever to qualify for the candidates at 15, and at 19, he became the youngest person in history to hit #1 in the world. Magnus Carlsen's life was surrounded by chess, and even among the brightest, most gifted chess players of his generation, he still distinguished himself as the undisputed best. But let me tell you why none of that would matter if L had even 5 minutes to prepare. At around the same age, L tackled the Los Angeles BB murder cases, which involved his rogue successor, Beyond Birthday. Now, Beyond Birthday was basically an evil genius. He made a crossword puzzle that a full team of policemen gave up on, and even the elite FBI agent Naomi Misora thought it was designed to be impossible, but L solved it immediately. And Beyond Birthday also read a 376-page book in under 5 minutes and memorized every page perfectly. So, if he's doing stuff like this, and L is canonically smarter than him, then you can only imagine the kind of photographic memory L has. Compare that to Magnus, who's said to have one of the best memories in all of chess. He's memorized over 10,000 full games of chess and can perfectly recreate positions with as many as 26 pieces just by glancing at it once. He's also capable of playing 10 games at once while blindfolded, which means he has to remember the position of 320 separate pieces. But remember, Bad Birthday perfectly remembered a 300-page book in minutes, and every page had hundreds of words on them. This pretty much outclasses Magnus's memory by a factor of hundreds, and this most likely wouldn't even push L to his limit, while Magnus looked like a constipated dolphin trying to remember where all those pieces were. L's photographic memory would play a huge role in learning the game quickly and converting his new knowledge into tangible skill. But chess isn't just about memory. Tactics and calculation are crucial parts of the game and are arguably more important. Magnus has stated that he can calculate 15 to 20 moves ahead in complex positions and up to 30 moves in a simplified endgame. He's also probably done hundreds of thousands of puzzles in his life and has tactics ingrained in the very neural pathways in his brain. L, on the other hand, has never even seen a chess tactic, but he doesn't need to. What I'm about to tell you is my most compelling argument for why Magnus Carlsen would stand no chance against L, and it fundamentally changes the way L would view chess. But first of all, let me tell you about the sponsor of today's video, myself. Please subscribe. Anyways, Magnus Carlsen is the best human chess player. There's no human who can beat him, but that's exactly the problem. Everything we know about L leads me to believe he would view chess through the eyes of a supremely powerful chess engine, one that might even rival Stockfish in terms of playing strength, and I say that for multiple reasons. Firstly, the way L evaluates investigations is strikingly similar to the way engines evaluate positions. In the early episodes of Death Note, L learns a few things. Ray Penber was investigating Light's family. He died shortly after. Light possesses extreme intelligence, and Light's personality fit his model of Kira. He also deduced that Light was in the Kanto region of Japan with a time trap. These factors led L to have a 90% certainty that Light was in fact the killer, and all this happened with minimal evidence and time. Similarly, Stockfish uses factors like material, king safety, pawn structure, and piece activity to give an objective evaluation. But do you know what this evaluation is based off of? Winning probability. The engine model for Stockfish turns all those details into a percentage, just like how L turns his evidence into a percentage. Additionally, engines have a system of generating candidate moves that it thinks is best, and will then compare the resulting branches. These are often things like checks or captures, and it's what the engine checks first. Similarly, during the investigation, L proposed many hypotheses to his team, but he was more so talking to himself because his team was kinda useless. These were along the lines of, does Kira need physical contact? Does Kira need the victim's name? Or is Kira one person or multiple people? These are essentially L's candidate moves, which he'll slowly deduce and thaw out. And this will translate exceedingly well to a real chess game, since L is used to considering countless options and thinking ahead for every branching options. And I could literally give you 100 more reasons for why L is basically a chess engine, but I think you get the point. Magnus Carlsen is nowhere near the level of the top computers, and L might pose an even bigger challenge to him than Stockfish. Even if he was given less than 5 minutes to learn the entire game of chess, his ability to digest information along with his engine-like thinking would make Magnus absolutely no match for L. But if you disagree, I'd love to hear why in the comments, and I'll make sure to respond and debunk you, because no one is smarter or better at chess than L.